How can you make post-emerge herbicides work better? This is one of the things we talk about often on the show because it really all comes down to return on investment. You don't always have to spend more money to get better performance. You just have to spend that money wisely.
Well, when we think about getting post-emerge herbicides to work, there's so many different factors to consider. I want to start right at the beginning with the spray nozzle that you're going to run it through. When we think about different spray nozzles, they've really changed over the years. When I was growing up, we always used flat fan nozzles. They were 80-degree nozzles, and then a big revolutionary change happened. 110-degree nozzles. Wow, it's still a flat fan, still the same pattern, just your spacing could be a little bit different.
Well, the pattern's a little bit different, but
yeah, you could be a little lower or higher, those kind of things. That's nice. But then drift control became a big issue when Roundup hit the market and Roundup Ready crops in about the mid-1990s, and everybody switched over to air induction or turbo T-jet nozzles. They're great for drift reduction, but they're horrible for getting great coverage out on your weeds. It's tough.
Yeah, the reason why is because they make the droplet size bigger, and when you think about it, when droplet size is bigger, then it's going to weigh more and it's more likely to get to the ground faster. If you've got a tiny little droplet, more likely to end up in the air and it could go off target. And obviously that's not a great thing when we're talking about drift. So anyway, what it comes down to is when you want to make your herbicide work better, your post-emerge herbicide work better, you say, well, what really is going to give me better spray coverage? Is it something with just a few big droplets, or is it with a whole bunch of little droplets? Okay, well, obviously if you have a whole bunch of little droplets out there, the flat fan nozzle or extended range flat fan nozzle, that's going to give you better spray coverage than an air induction or turbo T-jet nozzle. Hands down, no question.
Well, let's face it, getting great weed control is not your only concern. Drift is a concern, especially with certain products on certain days. So you do need to have that flexibility. A great return on investment.
How do you get the flexibility?
Great return on investment is putting triple nozzle bodies on your sprayer. So at every nozzle spot, you've got something you can just turn and quick go right down your sprayer and click over to a different nozzle type. Hey, it's a little windy. I need the turbo T-jet. Click, click, click. I got it fixed. Now, hey, it's no wind at all. I need that flat fan to get great coverage. Click, 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 and you're right in business.
So, for example, in terms of what a difference it can make, there's some work that South Dakota State University did, and we've talked about this over the last couple of winters, and what they found is that they had the very best weed control, albeit at a reduced rate of herbicide. They did reduced rates just so they could see the difference between one nozzle and the other nozzle, but they had the best weed control, rate for rate, when they were using the flat fan nozzles. And I'm talking at least 5%, if not even 20% better control. Now, does this happen all the time out in the field? Are you gonna see 20% difference? Are you even gonna see 5% difference? Probably not. But let's put it this way. If you've got 100 million weeds out in your field, and we all have a few fields that are a little weedy, okay? So if you had 100 million weeds out in the field and you get even 1% difference in control, isn't it worth it to have the different nozzle? I mean, just switch nozzle and get a little better control?
Well, those weedy fields are a real concern. So we've got a rule on our farm, and I think it's a really good one. When we have weedy fields, we want to spray those on the calmest days, the best spray days, so we can do the best possible job. And the field that has about 3 weeds in it, you know what, it really doesn't matter. We can go out there and the weather's not quite perfect and maybe it's not quite warm enough to spray, but it's not windy, so we can get something done.
Well, no, even if it is windy, then we can use those turbo T-jet or air induction nozzles. The whole point is we want you using flat fan nozzles on your super weedy fields. You can only use the flat fan nozzles when you have a nice, calm, perfect day. And we only get like 3 of those a year, Darren, so you really have to be choosy. But we're just trying to help you out. If you do that, then you get the most bang for the buck, and then you don't have a weed control complaint with your herbicide dealer, and at the end of the day, you're happier because you gain more yield.
Okay, let's talk about the lowest cost component of spraying those herbicides. It's the water.
What? That's not low cost at all. I got to truck it out to the field. That costs money, Darren.
Oh boy,
what
a complainer. Well, you can run 5 gallons of water per acre, or you can run 10 or 15 or 20. And is there going to be a difference in control? Certainly there is. Now, some products respond to lower water volumes better. Like, for example, in burn down situations, we like to use less gallons of water with our Roundup, because then the droplets are more concentrated, and when you've got small weeds out there, even if one droplet hits the weed, it's pretty concentrated and it's still going to do the job. When we're using higher water volumes, We're talking about products like Ignite, for example. That is a contact killer. You've got to get good coverage in order for it to work its best. You can use Ignite with higher water volume levels and do a better job.
But here's one thing that Darren and I always debate on is he wants to go more water. I say cut the water and use more spray pressure. Now, the disadvantage to my theory here is, yes, we're probably more likely to have spray drift. But as long as you're using your head and you're not near a field that you're going to cause any problems with, well, you can get by with that. So I'm totally serious. You either need to increase your water rate or you need to increase your spray pressure, one or the other, and usually that allows us to get better coverage.
And sometimes you do both and then you get great coverage. And,
yeah.
and wow, you know, if you can do it on the right days, you get that day that's pretty calm, everything's right, you can do an awesome job even with the contact killers that aren't all systemic and going down in the roots.
Well, there are a lot more things when it comes to making your post-emerge herbicides work better, but we wanted to really focus today on those spray nozzles, water, pressure. If you at least take those steps, and if nothing else, make sure that you're getting 3-way or even 5-way nozzle bodies on your sprayer. Get that done right now so you're ready to go when it's time to spray on your farm.
One of the things you may be spraying for is our weed of the week. Can you identify this week's weed?